they got dirt on every one of them, or they'll plant it. If they don't have it, they'll just spoof it and put child porn on your computer. And they're sitting there like hardcore criminal gangsters, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, just political suck-up trash appointed by the criminal president, the Auslander, usurping, criminal, piece of trash, New World Order, puppet, teleprompter reading, traitorous, larcenous maggot that is teleprompter-in-chief Obama. And they're all in there. It's just so funny to the potted plants up there on the stage. And they kept saying, but you got to come to us to launch a war. And the general's eyes would all get real stern. And I guarantee you they're thinking, little man, you have no idea the panopticon that's been built by the eugenicist. Because they've been let in on the big program at that level. You have no idea the decapitation space planes in orbit with DU, meteor guns, Sabo weapon systems. You have no idea we have... That's them thinking, the globalists. We now have discovered and developed antimatter weapons. We can blow the whole planet up. You have no idea the particle beam weapons we've got. You have nothing. You have no idea that flowing through your veins is sodium fluoride and hundreds of other chemicals and GMO designed for soft kill. We murder. We dominate. We have the power. When I was there at that elitist party, it was hundreds of people there, but it was like, you know, president of this, president of that running around. They were all running around crazed on design or something, in my view. I'm sitting back because it's, you know, just watching this spectacle as they hop around. And then every time somebody would say it's Alex Jones, introduce him, they would just totally just look crazed and then slap me on the shoulder and literally run off into the crowd. I guess that's the trendy thing. When they're like, hey, this is Alex Jones, you know, here's the billionaire guy, and it's the globalist, and they just like, just crazed. I mean, let me try to give you the crazed look. I can't even do it. Just like, I'm crazed. Just full will to power. The planet's mine. We're poisoning everyone. And the public has no idea. Nothing can stop us. And you just want to be able to reach out to people. You just want to wake up humanity, your fellow humans that you love. You want good for humanity. You want to go to the stars. And you look at the horrible demons that we've let take control. And how they've sold us on torture and secret arrest and all the corrupt things that people think is manly now. All the cop shows where they torture people and butcher the Bill of Rights and celebrate it's the right thing to do. And boy, they get the job done. And the Arrested Development and the way they've got men acting, the way they have women acting, and people all petty and all these petty trendies of every type, who are all on these private power trips themselves about how they're winners and they don't care what you think because they've got a high image of themselves. But it's a fake image. They're the opposite of humble. People would take my aggression and resistance as arrogance or ego. It's the opposite. It's just desperate, cornered animal scratching and squealing like a cornered raccoon trying to warn other raccoons, don't come this way, you're going to get grabbed. You know what I mean? Or a cow in a slaughterhouse chute. And I've gotten down to the end, and I see those big gas bolts slinging down and hitting those cows in the head, and the big machines grabbing them by the legs and dragging them up, and a big old razor blade comes in and slits that throat, and I see blood shooting out all over the place. That's the analogy. And I'm like, man, you don't want to go down this road. But see, I'm not a cow. I'm Homo sapien sapien in the image of my creator. My progeny, your progeny, is meant to go to the stars. We are only in an embryonic phase right now, and I don't want a cancer of malfunctioning, twisted, dark side people to be able to take control. I know men and women of goodness are much stronger and more powerful than these little rats. But the system has sold the idea that evil is going to give people power and beguiled and seduced people into it. And the deeper you get into evil, the weaker you get, and the more pathetic and the more insecure. And then you think if you just get into deeper evil, you'll find the power you were promised. Evil is a con game. There's nothing but destruction and shame at the end of it. You will not be fulfilled by it. Don't you understand that? Cowardice and weakness and envy and all of it will only bring you down. And I thought, this is what billionaires do? This is what, a helicopter ride, the best women, palaces, If you don't have an appreciation of what's good, it's all a dungeon. But people who've never seen it or had access to it have no idea. They all think it's that unknown country, and the system dangles the baubles and Kim Kardashian and Justin Bieber out in front of you as if they are living in some Valhalic world. I mean, there's not many people in Hollywood bigger than Charlie Sheen over the years, but I have met and gotten to know people as big or even bigger who don't go on record on this show. And they are miserable people. They are unhappy people. And the only ones that are happy are those that have found reality and now know it's all baloney. Those of you that think you're not adequate because you're not flying around in helicopters or because you're not having sex with Kim Kardashian, ladies and gentlemen, I'll guarantee you Kim Kardashian would be hell on earth to live with and would be terrible, her lifestyle, with all those empty people. You're in a room with empty people like that, you can feel it. You can feel it. There's no oxygen in the room. But let me tell you something. You find some good old-fashioned country people who are Christians but aren't throwing it in your face and sitting around on the back porch while grandma snaps the peas and cooks them for dinner. That's where you're going to feel a soul. That's where you're going to feel fulfilled. That's where you're going to feel strength. When you see people, activists out there confronting the globalist by themselves with a sign on the side of the street, you go up and talk to that person. You go out to dinner with that person. You get to know that person. That's somebody who's got deep living water flowing through them. That's somebody who's tied in to the life force of the entire universe and everything that's decent. Evil is not going to fulfill you. I got a lot of news I want to cover. On Google, the admitted government front run by the NSA, that came out in the news this week. They said, yeah, it's NSA, but courts rule it can stay secret. Yeah, they're at airfields with NASA. Yeah, these guys are all just front people to make it look sexy for the kids, to make the new tech people rock stars, to be a distraction for the NSA globalist banker program. Yeah, they're all eugenicists. And see, that's the enjoyment. They love the fact that they can see and everybody else can't around them. But as soon as you can see, they're like a vampire at high noon, hauled out and hammered up to the mast. It's like a vampire in the middle of the ocean, nailed to the top mast, folks. There's nowhere they can go. They're in a sea of consciousness. Surrounded by water, in the noonday sun, they burn away. They are weak, and it takes their power when you're not scared of them anymore and when you see what they are. Tumors. Big, stinking, pus-filled, reeking tumors. They're tumors, and all they want to do is kill you. All they want to do, they've already lost. All they want to do is drag you into their rat hole with them. Remember that. I want to go to this short piece. This is Paul Harvey, and then I have comments after it airs. This is Paul Harvey on If I Was the Devil, and this was recorded back in 1993. I believe we'll have it up on screen for Prisonplanet.tv viewers. Think of how much of this has now come true. Think of what we've become. Think of how we bought into globalism. I did, but a lot of people did. And where'd the prosperity go? It was all lies. You gonna buy more lies from liars? Paul Harvey, If I Was the Devil.
If I were the devil. If I were the devil. If I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. Thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. Paul Harvey. Good day.
1918, 2009. He recorded that back in 1993. And I wish we had a better recording of it. That's the best we could find on YouTube. We're going to try to mess with the audio, make it better for the Nightly News this evening. By the way, we have something really special Friday on the Nightly News. I'm just going to leave it at that. Something very special on the Nightly News. And no, it's not Dave Mustaine. He's going to be in town too. Mike did an interview with him and have that Monday. Or maybe Friday. But the point is, I've got something really special. It is special when we have Dave on too, or any of the other great guests we have. But something special Friday that we've put a lot of work into. Something new we're developing here at Infowars.com. And if you think this show is going to be Powerful Friday, wait till you see what we do in 2 weeks. That's at prisonplanet.tv. There's a 15-day free trial at prisonplanet.tv right now. We do have Dr. Paul Craig Roberts coming up at the 5 after break on the Euro, so I will just cover that right now. But I thought that I would first plug a few things here on air. Might as well. I just skipped the network break anyways. I do that a lot. Boy, let me tell you, that causes a fracas. See, I'm one of these talk show hosts who actually wants to skip the breaks. Most people are leaning on the microphone, leaning on callers, leaning on guests. I want to fight tyranny so bad, which is just a normal instinct for me, I guess it should be for everybody, that I could go for 10 hours here on air. But I don't, because I degenerate after a while and it's bad radio, but enough about that. I just believe in total transparency. That's why I'm always talking about what I do, what I'm thinking. I'm trying to get you to walk through my thought processes so you can understand from my research perspective where we are. And I found that by doing that, if you can get in my shoes, I can get in your shoes, and we